All right, let's move on to this now. Striking workers from the Sibanye Stillwater mine have vowed to remain camped on the lawns of the union buildings in Pretoria until President Cyril Ramaphosa intervenes in their 11-week strike over wages. Now, the mine workers who have been sleeping outside the highest office in the land for several days now want a 6% raise plus a 1,000 rand increase in each of a 3-year agreement and a 100 rand living out allowance. They've rejected an offer of 800 rand for 3 years plus an increase of 850 in 4 years and an increase of 905 in year 5 plus a 50 rand increase in the living out allowance each year and a profit sharing scheme. The Sibanye Stillwater mine workers say their employer seems to care less about their plight. Scores of striking workers continue to camp outside the union buildings in Pretoria. The company says the wage dispute has been referred to the CCMA for arbitration. The workers are calling on President Cyril Ramaphosa to speedily intervene in wage negotiations with their employer. Workers at the mine's operation in Welkom and Carltonville have been on strike since last month, demanding a monthly salary increase of 1,000 rand and a further 6% for artisans and surface personnel. The National Union of Mineworkers says they are prepared to camp at the union buildings until their demands are met. Let's now get the latest from our reporter on the ground. That's Mbalenhle Mthethwa. Mbali, thank you so much for your time. Now, talk to us about the effectiveness of this protest. I mean, does it look like the president will entertain these workers and intervene in this wage dispute as they are calling for him to address them?
Well, it's unclear if this protest is doing what it needs to do in terms of putting pressure on the president to come down and speak to them or intervene in their matter or force the employer to give them what they have demanded by way of a wage demand. But we do understand that them being stationed here has actually resulted in 2 meetings. One that happened yesterday with state security officials as well as with union leaders. And another one that's going to happen at 5. It's meant to start at 5. We'll be heading out there very soon. It's happening in Midrand. We will be stationed for most of the evening to hear what comes out of those talks between Labour Minister and Minister of Mineral Resources, together with union leaders, union representatives, to discuss a way forward. While, you know, at the moment we understand that the developments are such that the matter has been referred to the CCMA, but it remains to be seen what the significance of this meeting, what kind of results this meeting will bring, and if, you know, the matter will still require to be heard before the CCMA after this meeting. But I'm joined by one of NUM representatives to speak to us about this meeting ahead of the start of that meeting in the next 30 minutes or so. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for taking the time to speak to us. Talk to us about what you hope to come out of this meeting, and is there a chance that the strike, you know, could end after the meeting and that there will be no need to go before the CCMA?
Look, we are open for engagements as the unions, so we want the government to intervene. But remember, the strike is not the strike against government, it's the strike against Mbalenhle Mthethwa and Sibanye as a company. So we are engaging our government because we believe that they are the regulator. They've got the right, they gave the license to Sibanye to mine. So we want to engage them to see how far they can go and check if really Sibanye is ready to mine. If they want to mine, they must be able to afford mining. And affording mining means you must pay labor. That's where we are.
Okay, so one of the workers that we spoke to last night said that, you know, they feel somewhat exploited and feel that that now is the time for them to be compensated and rewarded for the fact that the mining sector contributes such a huge chunk towards GDP. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, indeed. You know, government cannot behave as if these mines do not benefit them. They also benefit, they contribute to our economy a lot. But they are regulators. They cannot shy away from taking responsibility and putting Mbalenhle Mthethwa in his place. Look, the man is able to say there's no government in South Africa, it's a failed state, and government does nothing to the man. So they really need to come in and take their space. But workers here are determined, they are ready to stay here until the matter is resolved.
What I hear you say is that this is an issue of enforcement in terms of, enforcing the labor laws or the mining laws or whatever it is. Is this what you're saying?
No, yes, we are merely saying, look, any mining company in the country gets license to mine. And if you mine, you must be able to mine and keep up with the requirements thereof. So if Neil wants to mine and Sibanye wants to mine, and they need labor, they must pay for that labor. And you can't exploit labor. Now it is for that reason that these men and women here left their families, slept here from last week Thursday, and they are still saying they are determined they will stay here until they are heard.
Now, it's quite interesting to see AMCU and MUM fighting alongside and on behalf of the workers. How often does this happen?
Look, we are saying workers of the world must unite, and we are very brave, and we are saying this does not end here. This is just the beginning. We still have a long way to go. There's no reason for us to fight as workers when the actual problem lies with the system. The capitalist system that we are working in, the system that does not think about its people. Sibanye is known to be a company that speaks about caring for its people. It has got values that talk to caring and being a proudly South African company. In our view, that is not the case. If they cared so much, they could have long responded and cared for these people, thousands of people who are seated here, and they only want a mere 200 rand extra on the demand.
Now, talk to us about, the plight of the workers. We heard AMCU president talking about what happens to mine workers once they leave the industry, saying that many of them suffer from silicosis, some of them are incapacitated, and many of them leave with, their health significantly having been deteriorated. Talk to us about that.
Yes, look, these executives that are getting big bonuses, they are very healthy. They are in offices that are well conditioned. Mine workers here work underground, wherein they contract silicosis. Once you get silicosis, you can't be healed. There's only one thing left for you, and it's the grave. Only this week we have had fatals in many mines. And workers every day, they take a risk, they go underground, and some may come back, some may not. For what? For what if chunk of the money goes to shareholders, chunk of the money goes to an individual in the form of the CEO? All we're saying is that, can they be considerate enough and respond? This is fairly a reasonable offer that we want, because other companies in the mining industry have afforded. If Harmony, for an example, if I may cite, can be able to sign this particular offer, why can't Sibanye do it? They are mining the same gold, they are selling probably in the same markets. What is the problem with Sibanye? It's an attitude. It has got nothing to do with the life of mine that they keep on preaching, and the sustainability issue. They retrench almost after every wage negotiations. There's retrenchment in Sibanye. So it can be that they are failing to respond to the plight of workers. But in the meantime, we must make it very clear, workers are determined. Workers are ready to stay here until the matter is resolved. They are ready, they are patient. You can see they are here, they are eating their lunch, they will eat their supper in no time. They will stay here until the matter is resolved.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. There you have it, one of the union representatives from the NUM just talking about the plight of the workers, echoing some of AMCU's sentiments regarding the executive salaries, and talking about the fact that, workers are not really asking for a lot, but they're just asking for a mere 200 rand increment, which they say that the mine could potentially be able to afford it, given the fact that a similar wage agreement was reached within the same industry with Harmony, which operates in the same market. They are concerned, also echoing AMCU sentiments around the fact that they believe that the reason that there's this impasse regarding this wage negotiation is based on the fact that it's an issue of personalities or attitude on opposite ends of the table when they do go into those negotiations and discussions. It's back to you in studio for now.
Mbalenhle Mthethwa outside the union buildings there. Thank you so much for that. Okay, let's take a quick break. We'll be back straight after this. Don't go away. You are watching SA Today.